To put it rather lightly, we believe that Eiji Aonuma and his team of directors and programmers have done it with Breath of the Wild. They have surpassed the greatness of Skyrim, the brilliance of The Witcher 3, all past Zeldas and other games that can be considered the best of all time. And I think that the key to it was something as simple as giving complete freedom back to the player to...
What's up, you troglodyte-ass goofballs? It's Obese Loser, here to do what the hip youngins who watch TikTok and smoke gas station black tar feces THC carts call yap. You know, after I've climbed the Mount Everest of YouTube, simply using those in my way as pawns in my mental game of chess, you'll all be really sorry you never took me seriously. Mr. Beast will be a stupid fucking footnote in the ever-evolving career of Obese Loser. But to achieve those delusions of grandeur, I have to start at the cobblestone layer, bitching about anything that throws a proverbial wrench in my ever so delicate mental state for that week. And today, we have nothing else but my absolute disdain for open world video games. At this point, I don't have a single reason not to believe that the term open world in itself is just a band-aid label that companies can slap onto their half-baked garbage of a video game product to ensure that at the bare minimum, the hype is built around it enough for it to make enough money for the next 10 generations of Bethesda developers to complacently release Skyrim with 2 new pixelated dragon sex scenes.
What the fuck? Oh! He just farted at it? What the?
Just having the simple archetype of open world attached to the product, no matter how mediocre, will guarantee that it is at the very least purchased and played by millions. But if the hive mind of modern day YouTube reviewer ingesting minions catches wind that their leader deemed it an offensive experience, then fate was not on your side, you poor AAA billion-dollar corporation. My bi-weekly Walgreens paycheck doesn't exactly give me the resources to pay for and fully ingest all of these new AAA open world releases, but at the rate they are shot out, I don't think anyone outside the Wolf of Wall Street is going to be able to afford them. So, although I can't properly give these riveting $80 experiences a true unbiased review, what I can do is go into the one open world game that I have played that I believe set the precedent for these game developers to follow, like they were a Smash player following a miner to their hotel room after the tournament concluded. Breath of the Wild is truly one of the worst video games ever created. It is solely to blame for setting the standard of video game development to being boiled down to creating a giant world filled to the brim with absolutely fucking nothing of substance, giving the player the freedom of exploration that in reality has the depth of the little puddle of water that rests within the depths of the urinal, creating entirely artificial goals to complete outside of the main quest that are only there to supplement the existence of other mechanics that provide literally nothing but artificial lengthening of the garbage you were entranced in. The fact that they actually managed to add bloat to the game, completely ignoring the gigantic empty world of nothing, is truly astonishing. Removing the traditional dungeon system of progression in favor of shrines that are the equivalent of solving those little "are you a human" captchas on porn websites, all while having zero sense of actual progression. It's telling when the speedrun for this game without any major glitches is done in 36 minutes. That is how much actual substance this game contains. Compare that same logic to a game like Half-Life 2, a game that came out in 2004 and has the most linear progression of any 3D game series to date. It sacrifices all exploration for non-stop action and world building while having zero cutscenes. The glitchless record for this game is 2.5 hours. Strange. It's almost like the 50-hour average playtime of Breath of the Wild is spent giggling in your greasy gaming seat while you use one of your 4 wacky abilities to throw a rock at a goblin that was frozen in time. But that's what the mass majority has been told by Video Game Donkey that they are supposed to praise. And that's why the sequel was exactly what I predicted. The literal exact same game with floating rocks in the sky and a Garry's Mod building system that is somehow more boring than playing Garry's Mod completely alone. The fact that the actual map of Hyrule is functionally identical to the first game is incredible. That would be the equivalent of Majora's Mask being Hyrule Field with a little pond in the middle of it and another house added to one of the towns. And that game came out over 20 years ago. It's one thing to reuse assets and gameplay elements, just like Majora's Mask did, but to copy and paste the entire map and add absolutely nothing is beyond fucking retarded. There was a noticeable drop-off in Nintendo cock-throating around this time though, with people gaining the slightest morsel of conscious thought and resisting the urge to call it the new best game ever made. But the damage is already done. We will never get the original Zelda formula back, because Nintendo would have to be absolute fucking idiots to not create what would be the lowest effort for easily the highest profit. I'm sure Breath of the Wild 3 will be the exact exact same map again, but this time you play as Link's little brother who can roll slightly further and plays the fucking flute or something, I don't know. Regardless of the quality, it's open world Zelda. Regardless of the quality, it's open world Harry Potter. Regardless of the quality, everyone I know is playing open world Dark Souls and telling me it's the best game ever made. So that means it's the best game ever made. No matter the quality of any of these games, they all tend to sell, and they all tend to be the only game in existence directly after release, only to take an absolute nosedive in relevancy in a staggeringly short amount of time. Remember Pal World? This shit was relevant for like 8 seconds. Why? Because, bro, it's Pokemon, but open world, catering to the exact same dumbfucks that purchased every other piece of crusty dog shit that was labeled open world and proven to be socially acceptable to play. You know what else is open world? The current reality you are existing in. So why don't you go to the Taco Bell shrine and puzzle solve your way to the job application hidden deep inside? Or better yet, why don't you explore deep into the foreboding lands of your neighborhood and rescue that princess for yourself? Meanwhile, a truly intelligent mind like myself will be playing my straight linear shot from birth to virginity to minimum wage job to perfectly timed suicide, and I will be ever complacent in doing so.